Coralie Fargeat's second feature, The Substance, is an impressive, immediate entry into horror canon with its vile body horror that can stand beside the Cronenberg classics like The Fly. The film premiered back in Cannes, where I got to see it myself, and it is now out in select theaters. Demi Moore stars as a star that has lost her sparkle to Father Time. As she goes about her routine of a physical exercise presenter on TV, she realizes how her window of fame is rapidly coming to a close as her studio, and especially her producer, played by the perfectly despicable Dennis Quaid, simply named Harvey, is constantly reminding her of her changing looks in a very direct way. This all leads her down a path of curiously and quite naively accepting a cell-replicating substance that creates a younger, better version of herself. Margaret Qualley enters the film with all of her perfection, getting to live the better life of what Demi's Elizabeth can no longer have. It's a gross film about a gross subject, not just in the body horror with the impeccable, grotesque, practical, prosthetic work, but also thematically as we see this older version decay for the benefit of a younger self that isn't even really her. I've seen quite a few responses to the film that view it as a faux feminist film that ultimately still ogles at the naked body of Qualley without condemning this view of commodification of the female body with a quick expiry date. Those concerns are all valid, and I even agree with a lot of them, but I struggle to find an alternative to tell the story that is so focused on the body itself without also featuring a lot of nudity. Fargeat's debut, Revenge, was similar that way, with a mix of nudity and sexiness, with the despicable behavior of men and gore and even action, and I'm reluctant to disregard her intentions here without having a female perspective myself, of course. To me, it is very much a story about struggling with self-worth, which creates some of the most compelling moments in the film to me. Demi Moore talked about this at the press conference in Cannes as well. The seeking of external validation is inescapable even for the younger Sue, as she falls into the same patterns of her older self within patriarchal structures. Therefore, she viewed it more as a way on how to deal with this reality herself without seeing herself as a victim in her own career. So her character has to ultimately face herself and is forced to look inward rather than simply pointing out the misguided structures of patriarchy, which to me makes a way more interesting narrative overall. Not to say that it doesn't embellish in all of the critiques that some others are having with it. I just feel like ultimately it has a strong core to itself. So rather, I'm going to focus on what I believe to be really strong and great about The Substance. Above all else, the editing was the biggest standout to me, paired with the great production design of the bleak white bathroom tiles, the long hallways, and the colorful interior design. The film has style. Benjamin Cracoon's cinematography is also pretty flawless, creating a forced upon male gaze that is just as disgusting as the blood and guts spilled all over the floor. The fisheye POV shots with men staring directly back at us perfectly exaggerate this sort of anxiety-inducing feel of being superficially disregarded and stared at, and adequately framed almost like a jump scare in itself. Rafferty's score is still haunting me in my dreams, as it had me on the edge of my seat for the entire runtime as well. There's a bit of a lull, I'd say, in the second act of the film before it gears into a really explosive finale, but I really struggle to find any notable shortcomings in the story or presentation. Demi Moore gives a career best performance. It gives such rawness to her character. Qualley gets to be layered in her superficiality by nature of a character, and she also works so well to me. The Substance has a lot of substance by being stylistically and thematically strong all across the board, and I'm giving it a strong 9 out of 10. Let me know what you think of it. Consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more reviews and interviews, and I'll see you soon.